To my beloved, I hope this isn't too old-fashioned or corny. People don't really write love letters anymore, but I need to do this. It's the only way for me to get across exactly how I feel to you. So, first off, let me tell you clearly how I feel. I love you. Not as a friend, or not just as a friend, and not in a "you're great, but I'm not looking for a relationship" kind of way. I'm in love with you. I want to hug you, kiss you, date you. Honestly, I want to marry you someday. I hope that's not coming on too strong, but it's how I feel. I realize this might seem sudden, but it's actually not. I've felt this way for a long time. As long as we've known each other. In fact, a little longer than that, since I'd seen you around before we officially met. This confession has been a long time coming. If possible, I would have liked to do this some other way. During a nice dinner, at a fancy restaurant maybe, or anywhere face to face. But I've decided that it would be best to do it in writing, because frankly, in person just hasn't been working out. It might surprise you to hear that I've tried to tell you how I really feel multiple times. I don't want you to feel bad about that, because I don't think it's really your fault. I know your history and how it's led to you having a lot of self-doubt. Unfortunately, that means you've misunderstood the things I say. I've said I love you so many times that it became an inside joke between us. I guess you thought that's all it ever was. But I've never once said that and not meant it. That's been a bit of a common theme, me saying things that you think I don't mean. Like when I said you'd make an amazing partner, or that we should go out on dates, or that I want to marry you someday. Maybe my delivery is to blame. I do take a sarcastic tone when I'm nervous. But I worry that maybe you also just assume that nobody could say those things to you and mean it. But I do mean it. You're an amazing person, and I'd be lucky to have you. I am lucky to have you. Even just as a friend. People in the past have made you feel like you're unlovable, undesirable. They were always saying that to hurt you, and they were always wrong. I think you'd be surprised by how many of them did it because they were legitimately jealous of you. So, I hope that as you read this, if for any reason you start to question whether I'm being serious or not, that you just start reading again from the beginning. Don't try to look for hidden meaning in what I'm saying or assume something that hasn't been said. Please listen to what I'm actually saying. I love you. After you finally understand how I feel about you, the next thing to do is, of course, to decide where we're going to go from here. We've gotten so close as friends, but I've never had the opportunity to discover what you're looking for as far as relationships go. You always seem embarrassed to discuss it. I hope that after you finish reading this letter, you will feel comfortable enough to tell me. There's nothing I'd like more than to be able to be whatever you need in your life. I just want to be with you in some capacity. Whether we take things fast or slow, whether we're intimate from the beginning or work our way up to it. That's not at all to say that I don't have my own hopes about what a relationship between us would look like. I've always been a very big cuddler, and if I'm allowed to, I'd spend every spare moment in your arms or with you in mine. I'm also pretty big into frequent date nights and lots of baby talk. But I like you more than I like any of those things, so consider me flexible. Lately, I just keep seeing the same scene play out in my head. I've just gotten inside after getting absolutely soaked while out running errands. I'm wet and shivering and miserable until you're there. You kiss me and help me dry off, and then we cuddle under a blanket while eating a hot meal and watching a movie together. I don't know why I started thinking of it, but it feels like it's all I ever wanted. It makes me feel so calm and happy, and yet a little bit empty too. Because I can't have that. Not unless you tell me that you love me back. I really hope that you do. Part of the reason I decided to do this through a letter was because I didn't want to put too much pressure on you. But, well, it's hard for me to not say that I'd be devastated if you didn't feel the same way. At this point, I just have so many plans and hopes for a future with you. I don't know what to do with all of it if none of it's going to come true. But you can't just decide to love somebody. I know that. You either feel the same way or you don't. And it's not your responsibility to try and make it work if it's not meant to be. I'm a grown-up. Even if I don't always act like it, I can take it. Sorry, I've started rambling a bit at this point. I was going to take all of that out of the letter, but I'll leave it in. You deserve to know my real thoughts. Not just the stuff I planned out because it sounded good. But moving back on track, I wanted to tell you some of the things I just love about you. Knowing you probably don't realize what a catch you are. And if I don't lay it out, you might start thinking something dumb. Like that you don't deserve me or some garbage like that. And I'm not about to let you get away with it. The very first thing that I noticed about you was how hard you worked to make everyone around you feel comfortable. You notice when someone is about to say something and get interrupted and give them a chance to speak. You reassure and compliment people as often as you can, and you always try so hard to be thoughtful. There aren't too many people as kind as you. And I love how much you love to laugh. I can say the dumbest things and you just crack up. It's adorable. And I've never ever gotten tired of hearing that dorky little laugh. And let's not forget the fact that you actually listened to me. Just yesterday, you joked about something I'd said in passing maybe a month before. It's such a little thing, but it meant the world to me that you'd remembered it. Honestly, you have so many great things about you that I feel like I'm spoiled for anybody else. I can't picture spending my time with another person because they could never be you. That's one of the reasons that I want to try and be whatever you want me to be for you. I think you know at this point what I want us to be for each other, but I couldn't ever be anything less than blissfully happy being with you in any capacity. Even if we just stay as friends, even if we just keep things casual, I just want to keep spending time with you. And hey, even if you're not ready for something more now, you might be someday. I bet I could wear you down eventually. I guarantee there are lots of perks to dating me that you'd absolutely love. I could write to you all day about how I feel. But I think I've made those feelings as clear as I can. The only thing left is for me to find out how you feel. I don't want you to feel too much pressure, which is why I came up with a way for you to respond to me in an easy way, if you'd like. It's the reason I wrote a physical letter instead of a text or email or something. If you feel the same way about me, or at least if you'd like to see where this goes, then leave this letter on my doorstep outside the envelope. I'll take that as a sign that you're open to me, and we'll talk about where to go from here next time we see each other. But if you're just not comfortable with it, then all you have to do is leave the letter on the doorstep inside the envelope. I won't bring up the letter to you or any of these feelings, and we'll try to move past it. You can take your time deciding on your answer, and I'll be waiting on pins and needles to see what you decide. All the words in this letter aren't enough to describe how I feel about you, and I hope desperately that you'll give us a chance. Love, your hopefully beloved.